Well, I was sitting home one day. I was like a paper boy saving my money for a speedway bike. I worked for like 3 years because my mom didn't like motorcycles and I had to earn my own speedway bike or I would never race. So I'm delivering paper.
Sure.
So I'm reading the paper, the Register, the Orange County Register. Do you know the Orange County Register?
Sure, the paper of all papers.
That's the paper in Orange County. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there like one Sunday, let's say it was Wednesday afternoon after I deliver my papers, and I'm reading the sports page because I like reading sports. And I read this article, and there's this picture, and it's a picture of you when you were 14 years old.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's it.
Do you remember that?
Maybe, yeah, OCIR or even Costa Mesa. It was OCIR if I was that young, probably 13.
This is the original paper clip that I saved it, and I was really mad because I was 14 and you were 14 and
Right.
you were racing speedway.
And you were.
I was mad. I saved this.
Let me show you something since you got that photo up. This is one of my favorite photos from back in the day.
Oh.
That was my first
nice.
win. And my first trophy girl, if you look, she doesn't have her shoes on. She had to take her shoes off because she was too tall. Imagine that, huh?
Wow. Wow. You are good, man. And it says like the whiz, they called you the whiz kid. Like Dennis Sigalos was the whiz kid. And it says 13-year-old, but I think you're like 14, but 13-year-old Dennis Sigalos in 1973. That's pretty old. And of Fullerton made a believer of the fans and riding alike as his riding in his initial Orange County International Raceway Speedway motorcycle program last night. He will be back for another try. That's probably won the main that second try.
Yeah, I can't remember, but I remember I had to ride there because of my age. You had to be 16 to get an AMA license and to be allowed to race at Costa Mesa. So, that's where, I got on the big bike after, and I was still on the junior speedway then too. We were doing some little halftime entertainment at Costa Mesa if we could get it, if Harry would let us, or actually if Frida would let us, Frida win. She ran the show more than Harry did.
She was boss.
Yeah. So, but I raced there. I think, I can't remember what day of the week it was, but my dad would drive me down. I think my cousin was crewing for me, Doug Cavanaugh. He was crewing for me, and we didn't know anything, man. But we knew, or I knew, it was good fun, and I wanted to get out there and do it. So, there again, well, I have a few races or whatever. Then you get to go watch the drag races because you walk up a little hill. And they had some super comp and some bracket racing cars are always running on that same night. So, I could take in two events. It was kind of cool.
OCIR was the best.
Yeah.
It was cool. I was going to ask you a question. When you guys were racing, going back to when you were racing as little kids, you and Bruce raced with the tapes. You obviously raced Bruce Penhall probably 1,000 times. Who won those races between you and Bruce?
Oh, he probably did. I don't know that we ever, we didn't really race, but we probably, got in there and got stuck in and got close to one another. And I can't recall any come to blows or anything. No one knocking each other off. It was always a laugh. Yeah, we were working hard at what we were doing, but you know what? Best of buddies and still are, and we were just trying to, I don't even know at that point, we were trying to make a career out of it. It was a hobby at that point and something that, we both wanted to do. And, I wanted to be Ivan Major. That was my guy. I got introduced to him at Costa Mesa when I think the U.S. versus the world came. And, I wanted to be like Ivan, and it's just crazy how it all turned out that I raced with Ivan as a teammate my first year at Hull. So that was one of my deciding factors why I went to Hull in the first place, was because I wanted to be like Ivan.
Oh, no doubt. Ivan was the best. You met your high school sweetheart, Deborah, I think her name was, Deborah. And I
Yes.
saw your picture. You guys had like a 40 or 50-year anniversary recently, and you guys look great. And so you met her in high school, and then she went with you when you raced over in England, and then
Right.
you're still with Deborah till now. And what's your secret, dude?
Well, be fun. Be fun. Don't be an asshole. Be easygoing, and I love her dearly. I mean, she's been a big, big part of my life. Pretty much since I was 15 and a half, 16 years old, man. And I even had it written in my contract that if she didn't come over with me in England, if they weren't going to pay for her to come over, then I wasn't coming. So they said, no problem, bring her over, and that's the rest is kind of history. But we went through. Everyone goes through some ups and some downs, but I would mostly say a lot of it was good times, and a lot of love, and being away from home here in California, and being all the way over there. We grew close together, and then my best buddy and my mechanic, Kevin Hart. He came over, I think, my second year for Hull, because I got figuring, man, this is really hard to wash the bikes and to drive all night and day, and especially from Hull, it was a long ways to get anywhere. And then he's like part of the family, and still is. I mean, Kevin was also Bruce and I's crew chief and head mechanic for our boat racing careers. And I know Kevin crewed or was Bruce's mechanic, maybe at a national at Costa Mesa one time, and we still all hang out together. So I mean, that's how deep the family runs. And Deb and Lori P, are best of friends. So I mean, it all helps when you have like BP and Lori and myself and Deb, and there's a few others out there that have been grown up in racing. Carrie and Jerry Penhall, also growing up with the off-road racing. We're pretty tight and pretty close knit, and we kind of know how each other operates. We know we need to give each other a little space, and they all know the boys will be the boys, and we're never going to be 100% safe.
You guys are crazy.
The kids coming, and then the kids coming along, it was unbelievable. Because they got to grow up together, and we're down there every weekend at their house in Nelligale Ranch and playing Pictionary. When the kids were in this room, we were all in this room drinking beers and rum and cokes and yipping it up, and the kids were always having a good time doing what they're doing and run around and rip around. We let them have free reign because they were good kids, and we were easygoing people and just like to have a good time. But you know what? We had some discipline as well, like everyone does, or should anyways. You don't want to let them run around like wild banshees all the time.
Well, if they were anything like you and Bruce, they probably needed to be disciplined.
Well, my son's kind of like me. Yes. Yeah, actually, he's probably not quite as bad as I am. I've told him some war stories, but yeah, good. Bruce and I got into some mischief. We got into some trouble, and yes, we did. The law was never involved though, so that was a good thing. We just always have lived life to the fullest and really have enjoyed ourselves and have been able to enjoy ourselves.